Shall we bring this week's meeting into session? Or shall we sit slouched in a corner, screaming at tattooed pieces of paper and avoiding that document that you swear you will? We will get to later. I know. I called at least one of you out, and that was completely intentional, which is obvious since, well, I script this podcast. But that's besides the point. Instead, I'm here to tell you about how reading just one more chapter is actually better for your writing than reading little to none at all. Well, it's beneficial if you end up writing in the end, but I'll talk about that later. We don't need to worry about that. That's a later problem. Now, enough. Now, Now, enough with all the pointless chatter. Let's get into the quick mention, then into the cold, hard facts. So, for any of you asking, where's your source? What are the numbers? There isn't a source. I'm going plainly off of my own experiences and what I've noticed throughout the years of me writing. It may not apply to you all. Hell, you may be listening to this and say certain things like, I've never had that happen before. She must be wrong. Well, I'm not wrong. I'm Porscha, and this is completely subjective. So, let's get into this week's big facts. Reading, and my experiences with it and writing. Section 1. What you read equaling what you write. Now, novels can take a while to write, but don't take as long to read. So, while you're writing your own stories, you're most likely reading a story by someone else, or if you just love yourself that much, another one of your own stories. When I was writing the Death trilogy, I read a variety of different genres of books, from fantasy to romance to mystery and thriller. But while I was writing between reading the books, I would notice that my story would fold more to that genre. So if I'm reading a romance book at the time, then a few chapters would end up being more focused on relationships and heartbreaks. But if I'm reading thriller, then there'll be more chapters with unexplained occurrences that would unravel later on in the story. But if I were to be in a reader's block, then a few chapters would be pretty plain, without much of anything for the reader to focus on. So, in conclusion, what you read has the possibility of affecting what you write, especially in terms of genre or minor actions within the story. So if you want to write a story with no romance whatsoever, then avoid books that even depict it. If you want to write a good fantasy with fight scenes and such, then read books that are centered around that, and yours will blend with it. I'm not talking about copying, of course, but you'll subconsciously start writing chapters that are similar to what you're reading. Section 2. Section 2. Reading keeping one motivated to write. Now remember, this is all from my own experiences. It may not apply to you. Some of you may hate reading but are always motivated to sit down and write every moment you get. But that doesn't change the fact that some people may actually still need reading in order to stay motivated to write. I don't know why I keep giving out disclaimers, but I'm not going to write them out. People can be closed-minded and sensitive after all, so best to leave them in and allow some people to just ignore them, than have to listen to people complain about how I'm wrong and humans aren't like that at all. Now, onto my experiences. I've noticed that during the times that I've been in reader's blocks, I never have the motivation to write. In fact, I'd even hate the thought of sitting down to write. But then I would read one chapter of a book and I'd be sitting down in an instant to type out a chapter or two of my own. Then, if I were to read at least one chapter a day, then I would look forward to waking up and sitting down to write every single day. So, in conclusion, reading can help a writer stay motivated to write, and not in a sense of, I can do it better than them, but in my personal sense, it's more of, I can be able to entertain people with my writing because others clearly can too. Though sometimes it's also like, that fight scene was awesome. I need to write one as well. So I'm going to add in dragons and demons and make it even more entertaining, like a domino effect. Section 3. Reading and the quality of writing. Over time, I've noticed that whenever I'd write without reading for a long period of time, my quality of writing would actually get worse. But when I would start reading again, it would improve. What I mean by quality of writing is the variety of words used, as well as the use of character dialogue, describing the world around my characters, and keeping things entertaining via actions. When I'm writing and not reading the words, the words are straightforward with no emotion, usually stuff like says, shouts, cries, etc. For character dialogue, it'd be straightforward and boring, usually along the lines of, hey, character A shouts. Oh, hey, character B turns and responds. How are you? Character A asks. I'm pretty good, character B says in response. Yeah, stuff like that. Then there's describing the world around my characters when I'm not reading, which is non existent, because I can't actively think of the world and end up focusing more on my characters. Then there's the actions going on. When I'm not reading, the actions are everyday and boring, such as the characters going on with their day routines or cooking. Basically, actions that are not vital to the story. But when I am reading while writing, everything is much better. The words would be more like weeps, whines, utters, mentions, streaks, etc. Then character dialogue would be more along the lines of, have you seen what happened last night? Character A shouts, stomping up and tossing their arms over my shoulders. Character B eyes character A with a raised eyebrow. Whoa, what's with all the energy today? Surely you know. Character A breaks a hug, placing both of their hands on my biceps. Their expression is sincere, pure joy radiating off of their dark skin as their dark skin glows in the high sun. Character C got a new puppy for their birthday, they cheer, beaming with elation. Like that. Now just think about how much better that is compared to the first one. Well, aside from all my stutters, but just ignore those. Then there's describing the world around my characters when I'm reading. Though I do need to write the sentences on my wrists in order to actively remember what they are when I'm reading. It's much easier for me to write with them and create entire immersive worlds for the readers. Then there's the actions. When I'm reading and writing, I'm able to write entire sword fights, characters training and feeling their powers pulsing inside of them, and even them quietly searching a building for a murderous killer, where every single noise and movement sticks out to them. So, in conclusion, reading can also improve the quality of one's writing on a multitude of aspects. So, all in all, reading is important, if not vital, for many people to ensure that their craft is high quality and entertaining. And as long as you actually sit down to write instead of continuing to read an entire novel, even if it's just for a little bit, then you'll be able to improve your craft. Now then, check out my novels, Death Trail, Flame Rip, and Arctic Blaze on Amazon and Kobo, link in description. Check out the Creative Writing Club Discord server in the description. Check out the Creative Writing Club Instagram at creativewriting_club. Check out my personal Instagram at dark_night_wolves. And how about we all go and read just one more chapter?